Good morning once again. Welcome. This is English. So, depending on what you got done yesterday, if you didn't finish the following activity I'm going to put up, you need to complete this with your group. And this is working on the pet birds. You were talking about, you were choosing either the for or against having birds as pets. All right, you should already have your worksheet. Hopefully you've read the text carefully together, discussing each section with your partner. But if you haven't done that, you need to continue. You need to draw a persuasive skeleton. And this says see the following slides, but you did that yesterday. If you need to go over that, it's on the same slideshow, so Miss Marty could go over that with you. Once again, to remind you, right? So you could stop the video here and go back and go over that if you need a refresher. If you're good, if you understand what you're supposed to be doing, then just make sure you're doing it. You can use a different way of writing notes. You don't have to write that persuasive skeleton. But in my opinion, it's the easiest one, and you might just want to try it. I especially think that year 3, I would like for you to all use that one. Year 4, if you'd like to get a little bit creative, but make sure that you have all the parts, all right? So make sure you take notes for each section so that you have the bones of the text. All right, so when you're ready to go on, when everyone has completed this activity, then we're going to move on to the next thing, all right? So today, your success criteria is that you can plan a persuasive speech using notes. You're going to plan a series of points, which are each elaborated further. You can use persuasive techniques. That's what you should be able to say at the end of this lesson. All right, so you've already completed, you've done some modeling, you've completed one skeleton model of a text about birds as pets, either for or against. So now we're going to look at this and see either how you did it or how you should have. So we're just going to go over maybe the correct answers for this. All right. Now, in this case, the author, this one is the one where it's for. We're not going to go over both of them, just one of them, to give you the idea of what you need. All right. Notice the first sentence of the first paragraph. It's right here. Birds are brilliant animals and make great pets for children in their homes. All right, this is your main point or your introduction. It tells whether the author is for or against pet birds. And by this sentence, we can tell that they are for having pet birds. All right, so on your skeleton, you would write here, point. Birds are intelligent, so they make good pets for children. All right. Now, as I continue, I go to the next paragraph, and I notice the first sentence again of that paragraph. So, and it says, my first point is that birds are very intelligent. All right, and this is your topic sentence. The first sentence of each paragraph is your topic sentence. You're going to have 4 of them. All right, so my first point is that birds are very intelligent. So as we move down, our elaboration here, this is actually point 1. And we'll talk about elaboration after. All right, so we have point 1, birds are intelligent. All right, so go back and I say my first point is that birds are very intelligent. On my outline, I write birds are intelligent. All right, notice the first sentence of the next paragraph. This is your third paragraph, and it says, my second point is that birds are easier to care for than other pets. All right, this is your second topic sentence. You're going to add it to your skeleton here. Point 2, they are easier to care for than other pets. All right, so when we find it in they're easier to care for than other pets, notice that I don't rewrite the entire sentence. I simply put it in a form that I can understand and write it quickly. All right, they're easier to care for than other pets. All right, now I go to the third point. And in that fourth paragraph, because you've got your introduction and then your first 2 points, and then in the fourth paragraph it says, my third point is that birds are inexpensive to feed. So now I write here, my third point is that birds are expensive to feed. And this is my third topic sentence. So I go now to my point 3, and I just simply write they're inexpensive to feed. All right, I'm going to look at my fourth point, which is in my 5th paragraph here, and it says, My final point is that birds can be kept in a small place. This is your fourth topic sentence, and you put it in 4. They can be kept in a small place. All right, this is, so now you've got 4 points from 4 different paragraphs. All right. Now, my final paragraph, all right, this is going to be your concluding point. It says, I have given you lots of reasons why birds make great pets. All right, and so I've written that down as your sentence right there. And I go and I add it here. In conclusion, birds make great pets. I didn't go back again. I didn't write it exactly the same way, but I wrote it in a way that I could understand it and I can remember it, okay? So when you're filling in your chart, you use the sentences, the very first sentence from each paragraph to make your points, and you end up with a skeleton that looks like this. If your words are a little different that you did, that's okay. All right, and obviously if you had to do the against, yours are going to look different. Now, the next step is to add elaboration. All right, birds are intelligent, so they make good pets for children. Point 1, birds are intelligent. Elaboration, add explanations or examples. You're going to read again the text. So we're going to go back here and we're going to look at this text, okay, and see how the author did this. Let's talk about birds are intelligent. I'm going to read the paragraph. My first point is that birds are intelligent. Because of this, they are fascinating pets and lots of fun. Some pet birds can be trained to do tricks or say certain words or phrases. Clearly, it would be great to have a bird in the home. All right, she added 3 more sentences there. First, she says, or he, because of this, they are fascinating pets and lots of fun. Okay, that's a little bit of extra information. They're fun and they're fascinating. She's used some good adjectives to describe them. Here's your example. Some pet birds can be trained. This is how they're intelligent, okay? This is how they might be fascinating. So it's an example of what she has just said before, in the sentence before, to do tricks or to say certain words or phrases. All right? It would be great to have a bird in the home. Now, it's just kind of a summary statement that goes back to her first statement that they're very intelligent. All right? It would be great to have a bird in the home. All right, so you've got some examples. Look at the second one. All right, she says, my second point is that birds are easier to care for than other birds. They live mostly in cages, so you don't have to worry about a messy and destructive pet charging around your house or barking at the postman. All right, so she gives you an example. They live in cages. They're not going to destroy your shoes like a dog might, or they're not going to bark at the postman, all right? They don't need walks, and they don't need to be house trained. So these 2 sentences are full of examples. Those were about 5 examples, all in 2 sentences, of how birds are easier to care for than dogs, for instance. They don't actually say dogs, but you can tell they're referring to dogs when they're talking maybe about a destructive pet, cats, or maybe cats. Cats might be doing this. So, all right. So each paragraph has some explanations and some examples, all right? Make sure you put those in, all right, when you're writing. Now, we didn't do that in this activity, but I wanted you to see that you're going to have to do that when you write your speech, which is coming up, all right? All right. Now, we're going to go through again. So this is our organization. You've got your introduction, tells you what, who, where, why, tells you what you're going to write about. I'm writing about the fact that birds are going to be great pets, all right? And then you've got your point 1, point 2, point 3, and your conclusion. Here is where you're going to talk about elaborating on your point, all right? You want to make your point clearly in a sentence, so that's your first topic sentence. Then you're going to add some elaboration. It would help you to give reasons for thinking that. What are your reasons for thinking that birds are intelligent? Okay, and so you give your examples. For example, or for instance. You can use these words. Then you would add further detail to make it clear. All right. Also, things that are important. Using present tense, persuasive devices, linking words, such as you might say, first of all, you might say then, secondly, finally, next. If you notice back in the text, she used or he used my first point, my second point, my third point, my final point. All right. And so those are words that you can use to begin. You can also use words like because, however, consequently, if, then. These are all words that you might use to help you as you make your explanations, all right? And so some of the ways that you can do these, especially when you're doing speeches, you need to use emotive language. We've talked about what strong adjectives are, remember? We don't just want to say she was nice, because remember that that's a word that, while it describes, it certainly says the nice lady. It doesn't give me a lot of detail. I'd rather say the generous lady or the helpful lady. That tells me a lot more about her than just nice, okay? So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about using strong adjectives. Deliberate ambiguity, probably the best, perhaps, maybe, because in this case, you're not telling them an absolute fact. You're giving your opinion here, okay? And so dare you to disagree. Clearly, she used that one in one of the third paragraphs in the piece that we read before. Obviously, everybody knows that. All right? And then turning your opinion into truth. The fact is, the real truth is, okay? Or rhetorical questions. We've talked about using questions before. Are we expected to, or how will, you can open your piece with a rhetorical question. Did you know that? And you can use those as well. Now, one of the things you're going to do is write your speech together with a partner. Actually, sorry, you're going to do this separately, but you might want to work with your partner to help you begin. All right, so you're going to say each phrase or sentence aloud. All right, and you also need to work on improving your sentence. So first I might say, birds are intelligent, okay? But I want to improve it, so I might say something like, birds are extremely intelligent because they can be taught to talk. You know, because like parrots, they can be taught to talk, okay? So something like that, all right? And so if you choose to work with a partner as you're writing, you're going to be writing each one of you are writing your own speech because you're going to give it individually. But once you get the basics down, you can ask a partner to listen as you're working so that you know if what you're working makes sense, all right? And then you want to also down here read it back to check that it makes sense, all right? All right, so actually what you're going to write about is discussing arguments for zoos, all right? And so ultimately you're going to write for or against zoos, but right now you're going to do an activity just about being for zoos, all right? So Miss Marty will pass out, or Miss Asma will pass out some sticky notes. You're going to write as many ideas as you can think of for zoos. It doesn't matter right now if you actually are for zoos. Maybe you're not, but that doesn't matter. It's okay. You need to think of reasons for zoos, because sometimes in school especially, or in life, you may have to agree with something that you don't actually agree with. And that might be the case right now. So we're just talking about the for argument. Then you're going to each put, as soon as you have several, you can go put them on the whiteboard, and then as a class you'll discuss all of these ideas together. All right, so pause the video here and get ready to do that. All right, now animals in captivity. I'm about to lose my video here, so I think we'll stop right there for now. You are going to be working on these ideas so you can finish this, and then tomorrow you'll get to the next video. If you happen to finish, the video will be ready and you can start it whenever you're done with this particular activity. Have a great day.